In season one, we looked at nutrition in theory, we looked at the foods, we looked at the quantities, we looked at carb timing, how to enhance your results. So this episode here is about how to put it into action, what to buy when you're out and about. And the two places that we recommend buying your food is Kerrigan's, which is a butcher, it's an online butcher, and Lidl. So Lidl are everywhere, and that's why we picked them. And their stuff is good quality, it's a good price as well, as you know. Kerrigan's, if you don't know what Kerrigan's is, it's a butcher out in Baldoyle, but we're obviously based in Blackrock. I assume you're near this sort of area too. Baldoyle is not that convenient. So it's an online butcher. They deliver on whatever day you want. You can get it delivered to work, and they do it in, they do deliveries in cooler boxes that are good for about 6 to 8 hours. They keep it at about 4 degrees. If that's not an option for you in work, you can actually get them delivered here to the gym on Thursdays. Just give us a heads up and let us know that first, and we can take in your order for you. Benefit of going to Kerrigan's is the quality and the variety of lean proteins that you can get there is massive, way more than what you'll get in Lidl or your typical butcher or any other supermarket. It's also a good bit cheaper. Okay, so shopping priority number one is lean proteins. That's the first thing we're going to focus on here. You need it for your results and your recovery. The best sources are going to be high in protein and low in calories. And that's actually how we grade lean proteins. We look at how many calories you need to consume to get a gram of protein in. So for example, if you pick, say, bacon, we know that that's quite calorie dense and not that high in protein. So you're going to need to consume a lot of calories in bacon to get a decent amount of protein. Whereas with something leaner, which would be, chicken, turkey, lean beef, that sort of thing, you need to consume an awful lot less calories to get a higher protein content. So if your goal is fat loss or hypertrophy or to recover from training, you definitely want to be focusing on the foods that are going to give you the most protein for a set amount of calories. In the tables on this page, we look at the food groups within meat, other protein sources, as well as fish, and we sort them with the highest one at the top being whatever food gives you the most protein for the fewest calories. If you find it difficult to hit your protein goal, you definitely want to focus on the ones at the tops of those tables because you're going to be able to consume more protein without going way over your calorie goal for the day. And that's exactly how you hit a decent protein goal while staying in a calorie deficit, which gives you the results that you're looking for. Okay, so we're going to start with our lean proteins. So I got chicken being the first one. I got these fresh Irish mini chicken fillet breasts in Lidl. They're quite lean, they're in small strips, they'll cook faster than say a big chunk of a chicken breast, and they're actually the cheapest per kilo of all the chicken in Lidl as well. So Irish chicken, really good. That'd definitely be a good choice if you want to get chicken. They also do turkey mince, and this is actually the top of our list with lean protein. So in other words, you get the most protein per 100 calories from any lean source. You get it the most from turkey mince than you would over any other protein source. Next, we're looking at beef, right? So beef is, whenever we're looking at beef, we want to try and get the leanest cut of beef that we can. I've got two different minces here, both from Lidl. One is lean, one isn't. And they're roughly about the same price, but you're going to have to, this is the one that's not so lean, it's got a higher fat content. You're going to have to consume an awful lot more calories in this to get the same protein content as you would in this one. So this leaner one here is less than 5% fat, so it's steak mince. So it just says Irish extra lean steak mince, and then this one is just Irish beef mince. So this would be about 20% fat, this would be about 5% fat. Lower calorie, higher protein, definitely where you want to focus your effort on. That'll be the same for pork and for any sort of fattier meat. You want to try and get the leanest cut of meat that you can. And that's kind of a given with chicken and turkey because they only really come in lean cuts. The next things we have here I got from Kerrigan's. Now these are unbelievable. These are turkey burgers and you can get them in a huge different range of flavors. These ones are peri-peri turkey burgers. The macros on these are insane. You get a huge amount of protein. There's 27 grams of protein per burger. The calorie content of them is in the table below, but massive range of flavors. Definitely recommend these. So easy and quick to prepare as well. If you've got a grill or a George Foreman, you can just bang on. They come in packs of 6. You can bang on 6 and maybe have 2 for lunch the next day, or you might even have 2 for dinner the night before, and you can make dinner and lunch the next day very easily. It's also pretty handy to put these into some sort of a container to bring them to work the next day, or to freeze them for the next week even. I was chatting to a client who I found it difficult to have protein available in work. He went away back home for the weekends, so he's now able to get these burgers, freeze them on a Thursday night. They're available for the next week for when he comes back to Dublin, and then he has them there ready to go. These things here are, they're called a fake out. They're meant to be like a fake takeout. It's meant to be a pizza. It's not really like a pizza. It's a massive turkey burger made to be like a pizza. They're pretty nice. I got them just to show you what you can get out there. Again, got them from Kerrigan's. They're not that dear. Definitely well worth getting. You might even buy that just for a regular week and chop it up and just use portions of it. You can actually make the equivalent of this on these smaller burgers. It's very simple to do. Literally a case of getting a turkey burger and putting some tomato puree on the top, sprinkle with cheese, leave it in the grill. You can put other things like chopped tomatoes or peppers or something like that on the top, and you just put it in the grill, and it's unbelievable. It tastes insanely good. These taste 100 times better than any of the smelly old burgers that you get in, say, Super Value or any of... I've tried a lot of turkey burgers, and these are by far the best over what you get out there. So give them a go. Other sources that you probably haven't considered for protein. So we've got ostrich here. Really unusual protein source, but extremely lean. Per steak, you're getting, so they're ostrich steaks, you're getting 26 grams of protein for only 121 calories. That's mental. That's a huge amount of protein. When we look at this fattier beef, for example, per 100 grams, you are only getting 17 grams of protein for 243 calories. So you have to eat twice as many calories with this fattier beef than you do with the ostrich. It doesn't need to be ostrich. The turkey burgers are going to have a similar sort of protein per calorie content as well. And that just gives you an example of how you can increase your protein content without going way over your calorie goal for the day as well. Kind of like the ostrich, another unusual one for you. And again, got these in little kangaroo steaks. Ridiculously lean as well. They're like a red meat. This is good. We found this to be good with clients that have always eaten chicken and turkey and don't like red meat, haven't really eaten red meat, but want other protein sources in their plan. Kangaroo steak is a nice kind of stepping stone towards red meat because it's red, but it's really lean, kind of like chicken would be. Definitely worth a shout. Turkey rashers. Pretty high, you get a pretty good amount of protein per calorie on these too. They're quite expensive. Kerrigan's do a version that are a lot more affordable, but these Bally-free ones are pretty pricey for the amount of turkey that you're getting, but still a good source. And you might have these in, say, it could be a good breakfast thing. You could have turkey burgers with maybe eggs of some variation, poached, scrambled, boiled, tomato, asparagus, mushroom, something like that. Also, what works well here instead of the turkey rashers would be lean bacon medallions. You can get that stuff everywhere now, including Lidl. They just didn't have any when I went to get them. But they're just like the leaner cut of bacon. And because of the leaner cut of bacon, we're going to get higher protein per calorie, which is key. That's what we're looking for. Some of you like sausages. Kerrigan's do all sorts of different sausages. They do chicken sausages, turkey, beef sausages even. If you do like sausages. If you don't like the sound of any of that and you just want a pork sausage and you want to get it locally or maybe fast, Super Value do these ones. I'll get a close-up of it, but it's low-fat, gluten-free, but there's only 43 calories per sausage, and you get 6.7 grams of protein with that as well. If you compare that to an average sausage, that's about half the calories for a similar protein content as well. Now, you might have seen this at the front. This is Lidl's salmon. Don't buy packaged fish. You want to try and get your fish as fresh as possible. And this stuff just doesn't taste anything like a fresh piece of fish would. And I know some of you might not be familiar with that. So just try and avoid these packaged fish that you get in Lidl or Aldi or whatever. They just don't taste good. They might even turn you off fish. I find Dunn's to be the best for fish, both in terms of quality and value. And as well as that, they're actually open quite late in Cornels Court too, so you can get fish after work. Totally okay to freeze fish as well, as by the way, guys. I normally, I love salmon, so what I do is I get a full fillet of salmon. It's about 18 euro a kilo, which is really good for salmon. Super value be about 22, 23. And full fillet, and I just get into chopping in 3 in there. That's kind of a big portion, maybe you get it chopped in 4 or 5. And I just put them into individual sort of freezer bags, pop it in the freezer, take it out the night before, it's frozen in the morning, and then I leave it in the fridge until I come home that night and I have it for dinner that night. Tuna. Now you probably eat tuna from a can. Maybe you don't like fish. Maybe it smells like fish and that turns you off. I'm going to do a video that shows you how to make insanely nice tuna burgers. Probably haven't had a tuna burger before. This recipe is really fast to make, tastes unreal, and doesn't taste of fish either. And you can make it taste, it can taste the fish if you wanted to, but it's the herbs and spices that I add to it that make it not taste like fish. It's also the recipe that I use whenever I'm not bothered making food or spending that long making food in the evenings, maybe where I want to make 2-3 days of lunches in one go pretty quick. Takes about 5 minutes, and this is, you get a huge amount of protein per calorie. Also, the great thing about tuna cans is they don't really expire, or they take a long time to expire. So these can be sitting in your cupboard, and you can have a bit of a stock of them sitting in there for when you just don't have food. Maybe you come in after a weekend, you haven't been around, and you've no food, and you want to have something ready for Monday. Tuna is a key thing to have in your cupboard. Get the ones that are in brine, because there's a lower calorie content than, say, sunflower. And within the recipe, you're not going to taste the sunflower anyway, so there's no point in getting the extra calories from the sunflower. If in any doubt, check out the back, check out the labels, get used to reading the labels on any food pretty much. And we're always looking in terms of results for our calorie content and our protein content. So you'll see that the brine is significantly lower. So we've got lean proteins, we've got our fish, right? And you'll see the charts down below that go into this in more detail and the ones that you want to focus on with the highest protein per calorie. But we want to also look at how to make this stuff taste nicer so that you actually really enjoy it, that you look forward to eating it, and that ultimately you have it available more often, and we do a bit of prepping. The way to do that is with lean proteins to have a low calorie, tasty marinade, and it's so easy to do. I love things that are fast to do because I believe that if it takes too long, or if you have to follow a recipe or whip out a cookbook, it's just not realistic for most people. So the marinade is basically yogurt with herbs and spices, and it's very quick to make. I'm going to show you yogurts in a minute, but we've got one that you might be familiar with, the Glenisc high protein yogurt. By the way, guys, this is just yogurt with a little bit of extra whey protein like we have in the gym added to it. It's not a particularly unique type of yogurt, just got extra stuff added. So you basically just guess, say if you had a bowl of chicken, just have your bowl of chicken, you get a spoon or two of your yogurt, you mix it in, you add in a load of different herbs and spices. So these are a load of ones I got in Lidl, got sweet paprika, mild curry powder, cayenne pepper, and hot chili pepper. Cheap to buy in Lidl, definitely get them. Stock up on herbs and spices because they make your food taste good. This one's also really good. It's kind of on the back shelves. It's called Barbecue Spicy. I love this. This is really nice. So you get all this stuff, and you literally just mix a bit of yogurt with some of this. Dolmio sauce works well too, and this comes in different flavors and that sort of thing. I also find the Dolmio sauce to be the lowest calorie sauce of its kind. The one that you get in Lidl, the one that's not the Dolmio brand, is a fair bit higher in the calories. And Lidl do actually sell this, and it's pretty much as cheap. So just get used to reading the calorie content in food, and you'd be surprised that you can actually save yourself some calories here and there. Other things that you want to try and add flavor to your food would be stock. Now we look at, in season 3, we're looking at, it's our cooking episode, nutrition in season 3. So we look at stocks and stuff in more detail, but in Lidl I got this chicken one, got the beef one, got the vegetable one. I use a slow cooker. Slow cookers are key. You can get them in Argos for about 30 quid. It's basically it's like a big pot, and you just throw in a load of lean protein. So I throw in a load of chicken, I throw in a load of herbs and spices. The stock, you just throw it into a cup, bit of boiling water and it mixes into a vegetable style liquid, and I pour all of that in on top of the chicken in the slow cooker with whatever other herbs and spices, and I just leave it there overnight. It takes like 8 hours. You wake up in the morning, it's super tender and it's ready to go. And I haven't spent any time cooking this or monitoring it or taking it out of an oven or anything. I've just dumped it in a pot, gone to sleep, woken up, and it's ready. It's like someone's made your food for you, and it's insanely nice. So there's no reason to have rubbery chicken or horrible tasting lean proteins. They should all be juicy, tasty, and cheap and easy and fast to prepare. Tomato puree. Definitely want to get some of this. Very low calorie, add a lot of flavor to your meals. You remember I said the turkey burgers or any burger, you can just add a bit of tomato puree to the top to give it a sort of like pizza-like base, bit of cheese on top and whatever else you want. I also use it in the slow cooker. If I'm making about 1 kilo of chicken, which I would, I'd add in 1 or 2 of these into it, and it adds a lot of flavor to it. So that's our lean proteins. That is our priority number 1. We've got a few other sources of proteins. We've got this stuff here. You probably haven't heard of this. It's called, I don't know how to pronounce this, Quark, I think. Low-fat soft cheese. So kind of like cottage cheese maybe, but kind of smoother texture. But per 100 grams, it's only 73 calories. 73 calories, and from that you're getting 12 grams of protein. That's huge. It's really, really big. If you were to replace things like maybe butter with something like this, you'd immediately be reducing your calorie intake while also increasing your protein intake, which will have a huge effect on your results in the long term. Cottage cheese is another good one. In Lidl, you can get the light version of cottage cheese, which again, lower calories, higher protein per calorie. And per 100 grams, you're looking at 77 calories and 11 grams of protein. So it's actually really similar. The two of them are pretty similar. They're about the 75, 80 calorie mark per 100 grams and about the 12 protein gram mark as well. So really good things to have in there too. Snacks. Love these lately. Really good. I have them in the snack options below. But it's mini mozzarella balls. And they are, I got the light ones again because lower calorie and higher protein content. So they're not like normally when you get mozzarella, it's just one big ball in a sort of a bag of juice. It's really awkward. You pretty much have to eat the whole thing or it all goes to waste. These are good because they're in a sort of a plastic container. They're cheap. They're just small balls, kind of like the size of a ping pong ball. And that with maybe some chopped tomatoes, bit of spinach would add some volume to your food and a higher protein content as well. If you had a portion of this, which would be about half to 3/4 of this, fairly significant, be about the size of a tennis ball total in cheese, you'd have a snack for less than 200 calories. And the spinach and the tomatoes helps to add more low-calorie volume to the meal as well, so you actually feel full too. Liberté is okay. You're not going to get the same protein content per calorie as you would with the Glenisque one. Lidl also do a low-calorie yogurt, which is pretty good as well. But the Glenisque one is higher in protein. So we're always looking at protein and calories and trying to get as much protein as we can per calorie, and that's where the Glenisque one kind of stands out. Our next priority is our greens. We need greens because greens add volume to your food, and that's what actually fills you up. If you're in a calorie deficit trying to lose fat, greens will keep you full so that you don't feel like you're in a calorie deficit and you can stay in a calorie deficit for longer and ultimately get better results, right? I'll put it to you this way. If you're not eating greens in every meal and you're not hungry as a result, then you're not in a calorie deficit. That's a pretty simple way of putting it. So in order to not feel hungry while in a calorie deficit, you're going to need greens. So there's a few options. Now, option number 1 is to make fresh veg. And the quickest ones that I found to make, so I got these in Lidl, and they're just peppers, but you can just make these so easily. You just get a pepper, chop off the head, chop it in half, and put it under the grill. And they taste really sweet, like they're really, really nice. And so quick to make too. If you're making something maybe in the oven, you might have, say, whatever it is, maybe a bit of salmon with some peppers in there as well, and they could be both cooking at the same time. Other good things to get would be, say, cauliflower, which you can chop up and put it within a blender to make cauliflower rice. Really low calorie and high in volume as well. Now, for whatever reason, obviously fresh is best, but whatever reason, you don't have the time or whatever happens, you can always go with frozen veg. Frozen veg is fine to eat. Obviously fresh is better, but frozen veg is better than no veg. So Lidl or any supermarket will sell frozen veg. You just want to, again, get used to reading labels because some of them add sneaky calories in there that drastically ramp up the calories to make it taste better. For example, this one here is from SuperValu Vegetable Stir Fry. It's got carrots, walnuts, water chestnuts, green beans, a couple of other things. Per 100 grams, there's only 36 calories, which is really low. Some of them have 150 or 200 in some cases. Things like, roasted parsnips with honey glaze and that sort of thing. Like, if you're in any doubt and you're just comparing these in the supermarket, look for something really plain. Look for like green beans and look at the calorie content on that. It's going to be about the 30 gram mark or 30 calorie mark, and then look to see how much the calories are on whatever food you're unsure of. It should tell you straight away. Now, if you don't have anything like that, let's say these have been an absolute game changer for me and for clients that I've spoken to that just don't have food prepared in work. So I've got this in Lidl. It's a salad bowl. It's called Family Salad Bowl. It's pretty big. It's 400 grams. And like in the whole salad bowl, I think there's something ridiculously low, like 80 calories, I'm pretty sure. Doesn't say it. Oh, it does. Yeah, 80 calories. But like if you had this, it's only €2 in Lidl. SuperValu and any other supermarket sells something equivalent to it. Just had it sitting in the fridge in work. Grab 1 handful, 2 handful per meal. That's all the greens that you need. It adds volume to your food, keeps you full, and ultimately keeps you in that calorie deficit easily without having to make lots of veg or have, your frozen veg in there too. Definitely worth getting. If you find that if you're someone that never has food available in work for lunch, for example, when you're making your dinner the night before, let's say you've got your salmon. Salmon's probably a bad example. People don't like fish for lunch. Let's say it's just chicken, right? You've got your chicken and peppers and whatever else. So say chicken and peppers. Make twice as much, put half in a container and bring it to work the next day. There's no extra preparation time in any of that, and it means that you have the right stuff available in work all the time. Grab a few of these, have them sitting in the fridge as well, and you can add about 2 fists per meal too to add more volume to your food. Other things that are available in Lidl would be, say, these snack cucumbers. Just a little packet of cucumbers. They're only like €1 or so. And you could dip them in things like, say, the cottage cheese or the Cork or, that'd be pretty much it. Similar to these snack tomatoes. I think these are for kids' lunch boxes, but they're really handy to have as a sort of a really low calorie snack item to have. Similar enough, cherry tomatoes, as we know, that goes really well with our mozzarella, and we might add some spinach in with that too. And then treats, right? So these have been a bit of a game changer for me as well. It was actually a client that recommended them. It's jelly, but it tastes amazing, and there is only 10 calories in each one of these little tubs. So if you're looking for something sweet in the evening, you just need something after your dinner. You might not have any calories left in your calorie goal. 10 calories in one of these. This is the mango and passion fruit flavor. It's a Hartley's brand, and just add in a little bit of yogurt with that as well. You could even have, say, 2 of them and a little bit of yogurt, and you're still talking way under 100 calories, and it's a huge bowl of something sweet to have after your dinner. Another thing that works well in the evenings is a Fulfill bar. So Fulfill bar is like a protein bar, and they just have really good macros on them, which again is all about having a high protein content with low calories. So Fulfill bars are normally about 190 calories, and they're about 20 grams of protein, I think. Yeah, 20 grams of protein. So you get one of these, whatever flavor. They come in loads of different flavors. You can get them anywhere. You can get them in supermarkets or in petrol stations even. Put it in the microwave for 10 to 15 seconds, it melts a little bit, and then just throwing a bit of yogurt on top, and it's unbelievable. It's really nice. Again, you've got that in for about 200 calories or so, something sweet after dinner, which is something we always get asked for. So what you want to take from this episode is that you always want to prioritize the foods that are going to be high in protein with lower calories. So you're getting more protein per calorie. So that's going to be the leaner cuts of protein and the lower calorie foods. And to actually have a day where you assign to shopping, so you schedule it and you do that religiously every week to create that habit, that positive habit of going out and buying food that supports your goals, so that you always have good food available and you start the week in a good positive way with the right food. As well as that, give Kerrigan's a go and make an order online. Get it delivered either to your house, work, or get it delivered here on a Thursday. Huge range of food in there, and you'll get it for much cheaper than you will in supermarkets, and it tastes insanely good. It'll totally change your idea, your opinion on lean proteins too.